they come and send a runner. They go, Vince McMahon wants you two in his office right now. And I go, fuck, we're fired before we even started, man. And I really thought that.
Rewind, recap, relive. For over 50 episodes, the revolutionary force in wrestling interview.
As I mentioned, quite a few iterations. I'd love to hear your thoughts on your first WWE run and hear if you enjoyed Festus and Straight Edge Society. I've heard you talk about it before, but I'd love to hear your thoughts on it right now.
So yeah, you know, that I get a lot of funny comments about, especially about Festus, as you would imagine. But I mean,
yeah,
you got to remember, I came here. I'm 22 years old. You guys want to sit in the sushi place until I'm done? Okay. Sorry. And you know, I'm in developmental. Exactly. It's over there, I think. But yeah, we're Christmas shopping while I'm podcasting. So
oh, nice.
That's why I didn't realize it was an hour. But anyway, like, you know, I was 22 years old and they called me to do the Imposter Kane thing. And everyone's like, oh, that was a big failed gimmick. Well, yeah, of course it was. But the other thing is it wasn't supposed to be like this long run. It was to promote the See No Evil movie. So I did that. Mm-hmm. And, you know, I went back down and I was doing this freaking Deacon character and I brought you know, it's like he was saying earlier, it's to me, it's always been about the pageantry and you got to look like a star. You got to seem like a star. And I had a painted face and I talked to these crazy voices and I brought a tarantula to the ring and I would do my old Jake the Snake thing. I'd beat the guy and drop the spider on him. Well, then WWE was all over it. And then until you realize you can't travel with live tarantulas and it's hard to get a working tarantula in every town you go to. So killed my gimmick. And they had brought Henry Godwin back at the time, and he was going to tag with Ray Gordy as like a new Godwin's kind of hillbilly, whatever, like a, you know, like a little undercard baby face act that you know, people could have got behind, whatever. And Henry had some personal issues at the time. He's a great dude. He was great to me, but he had some personal shit going on, and he had to leave the company. So Ray had gone and, you know, he bought all this hillbilly stuff and they're doing the gimmick and all of a sudden there's no Henry. Well, here I am. And I'm like, I know I'm too green to just be a dude in tights. I'm not going to impress anybody like that yet. So I went and bought a bunch of Blue Collar Comedy Tour DVDs and watched them. And then I went in and asked if it was okay if I, you know, if I tried out to be the other pig farmer guy, because I had nothing going on and I got the gig. So they sent us to TV and they were going to debut us. And we were going to work with a couple local guys. So we're out there, you know, getting ready to do that right before doors open. And they come and send a runner. And they go, Vince McMahon wants you two in his office right now. And I go, fuck, we're fired before we even started, man. And I really thought that. And they call me into Vince's office and he sits down and I've never talked to Vince McMahon. You know what I mean? I'm a 23-year-old kid. I'm shaking in my boots. And he goes, can you do this? And he sticks his tongue out at me, like, and does what becomes the Festus face or whatever. And I said, yes, sir, I think I can. So I do it back to him. So about 20 minutes of Vince and I sticking our tongues out at each other. Then he explains that he wants this catatonic guy. The bell rings. He goes crazy and kicks ass. Bell rings again. He's catatonic again. And he looks over at Gordy and he goes, and you, what's your favorite color? And Gordy goes, yellow. And he goes, all right. Get a yellow singlet. You're his handler now. And that's how it started, man. You know, I've heard different things, that it was a rib on somebody or whatever, and are you embarrassed of it? I can't believe they did that to you. But the bottom line is, man, like I said, I was a young kid in the business. I bought my first house on that Festus run, so I got no shame toward it. It was also good, too, being that young in the business because it was a character. So kids got the character. So when we'd go out and work on these house shows and live events, they knew – they might not know Festus. He might not be their favorite wrestler, but they knew when he came out there, when the bell rang, that shit was going to go down. So it always got a big reaction. It was a fun character for that kind of stuff. It just it didn't have any legs. You're a fun character. You can't go cut a promo on The Undertaker when you can't talk. So it wasn't going to go much further than it did, and it had its little run. And then they were going to switch me to Raw, which they switched Festus to Raw after they took his Jesse away, and a Jesse without a Festus is nothing. So that didn't go well. But there were no plans for me, and I knew that. So they called me and they're like, hey, I gained a little weight to do Festus, obviously, if you've seen it. They're like, drop some weight, get back in shape. We want to repackage you. And I was gonna be a masked character on Raw. They were like, we're gonna put you in and as a masked heel character, work in the middle. We'll see if it gets over. We think that'll be good for us. Great, yeah, thanks.
Rewind, Recap, Relive. For over 50 episodes, the revolutionary force in wrestling interviews.